It's been over 2 decades since the world lost George Harrison, the quiet Beatle, to cancer in Los Angeles at the age of just 58. Born in Liverpool on February 25, 1943, George's musical legacy helped reshape the 20th century. And while the Beatles stopped touring in 1966, Harrison's final full-length concert wouldn't come until April 6, 1992, almost 3 decades later at London's Royal Albert Hall. This performance was not just another concert. It was George's first appearance in London since the Beatles' legendary rooftop performance in 1969, and his final full-length solo show before his passing in 2001. George Harrison first performed at the Royal Albert Hall in 1963. Fast forward nearly 30 years, and Harrison returned to the same stage, but this time as a solo artist and with a cause close to his heart. The 1992 show supported the Natural Law Party, a political group inspired by transcendental meditation, a philosophy Harrison had long embraced. The concert was held just weeks before the British general election, and George saw it as a chance to advocate for a total change, distancing himself from traditional left-right politics. "The system we have now is obsolete," Harrison stated in the concert's press release. "We need a new approach. The Natural Law Party is turning this election into a wonderful national celebration, and I am with them all the way." Among the lucky 5,000 attendees was a lifelong Beatles fan named Thorsten. His journey from Wuppertal, Germany to London was chaotic and stressful. Delayed ferries, lost hotel time, and a last-minute dash through Paddington culminated in a mad taxi ride to the venue just minutes before the show began. "We thought we'd missed the concert entirely," Thorsten recalls. "It was only thanks to some taxi hustling and sheer luck that we made it in time." As if the music weren't enough, Thorsten's box was directly next to the Beach Boys' Mike Love, Bruce Johnston, and Alan Jardine, who were gracious with autographs and photos. Ringo Starr, however, was less approachable at the time, brushing off autograph seekers outside. At 8 p.m., the lights dimmed, and George walked on stage to a thunderous standing ovation. For someone who had long been skeptical of live performance due to the pressures of fame, this reception clearly touched him. "I couldn't control it," George later said. "The audience was just so happy. It was the most incredible buzz." The show opened with 3 Beatles-era tracks: "I Want to Tell You," "Old Brown Shoe," and "Taxman." The latter updated with the names of then-contemporary politicians. Mr. Bush and Mr. Mayor George was backed by an elite ensemble featuring Mike Campbell, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Andy Fairweather Lowe, Will Lee, bass, Steve Ferrone, drums, Ray Cooper, percussion, Chuck Leavell, and Greg Fillinganes, keys, Tessa Niles, and Katie Kassoon, vocals. The lineup also featured surprise cameos from Gary Moore, Joe Walsh, and of course, Ringo Starr. Before Harrison's set, Joe Walsh and Gary Moore each performed fiery mini-sets, surprising many who expected the evening to be solely Harrison-focused. Moore's blues rock intensity and Walsh's Eagles-era classics warmed up the crowd in unexpected ways. George treated the audience to a spiritual, career-spanning journey, Something, with an emotional solo followed by Mike Campbell, What Is Life, the most danceable moment of the night, My Sweet Lord, a sing-along that included references to multiple faiths, Here Comes the Sun. Acoustic and warmly received Isn't It a Pity, a long version that echoed Hey Jude. Perhaps most memorable was While My Guitar Gently Weeps, when Gary Moore took on Eric Clapton's original solo parts, turning the moment into a guitar duel between him and Harrison. Ringo joined in on drums, marking a rare live reunion of Beatles legends. The concert closed with Roll Over Beethoven, a nod to George's early Beatles days, with Joe Walsh returning and Donnie Harrison joining his father on guitar. The performance featured a wild 3-way percussion jam between Ringo, Ferrone, and Cooper, while George stood in the shadows, sipping tea before stepping back in for the finale alongside his son. Backstage, the celebration continued with an afterparty at the Dorchester Hotel, attended by Maureen Starkey, Pattie Boyd, Mary McCartney, and Julian Lennon, who had quietly watched the show from the audience. For fans like Thorsten, the evening was more than a concert, it was history. If I had known it would be George's last full-length show, I would have tried to capture every second even more. But at least I was there. Despite the moment's magnitude, the concert was never officially released. Still, high-quality bootlegs like Overexposed and Hypnotized and Hari and the Hijack Band preserve its magic. Some rehearsal footage even surfaced in a promotional video for the Natural Law Party, including a glimpse of George performing Taxman. Photos from the night made their way into Genesis Publications' deluxe book Live in Japan. But the full story remains largely undocumented, except through the memories of those who were there. George Harrison's 1992 concert at the Royal Albert Hall wasn't just a political benefit or a musical comeback. It was a deeply human, spiritual, and joyful return. It showed us what Harrison stood for: peace, sincerity, and timeless music. It was a night when the quiet Beatle roared. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more rare moments in music history. Got memories of this concert or favorite Harrison moments? Drop them in the comments below.